Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to Daily Current Affairs session. So these are the articles that we are going to cover today. It will be short session because most of the articles are factual in nature, right? First one, new criminal bills. You might have seen that the criminal bills came into the implementation from July 1st, that is yesterday, right? So there was a old acts passed by the Britishers, we are still following that. We will see those background and all, and then we'll come to the new provisions, right? So this is part of polity. Next one, Project 75I. This is part of defense. Then Project Nexus by RBI. This is of economy. This is an international initiative, but India has joined, or RBI has joined as a founding member, right? Then Bustard recovery program. This is part of environment. Then Smart City Mission, this is schemes and policy or urbanization as part of social issues you can take, right? The National Indicator Framework for Progress Report, this is evaluation by ourselves, that is Ministry of Statistics itself, on the development of sustainable development goals, how we are able to achieve, what are all the achievements or what actually are SDGs. So this we will see, this is also part of social issues. Then some factual pointers and practice questions. So these are the articles that we are going to cover today. I hope my voice as well as video is clear. Very good evening, Srinath, Keshav, Omkar and Malini. Omkar, sir, current affairs for which exam? So you can take this for all the exams conducted by UPSC, SSC, that is Staff Selection Commission, or Railways, right? So these current affairs are helpful for whatever the exams that you write, for government exams. So we are covering in detailed manner, so you can write any exams through this current affairs, right? Yes. So let's discuss the first article, that is about the new criminal bills, right? New criminal bills has came into the implementation from July 1st, that is yesterday. The names you can see here, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, first bill. This is a replacement for IPC, Indian Penal Code. See, we were following lot of legal elements. Still there are laws which were enacted by Britishers, but still we are following. This Indian Penal Code as well as Criminal Procedure Code as well as Indian Evidence Act. All these were passed some 150 or 100 years before by the Britishers. Still we are following them, right? So still we were following them. Now government has brought three criminal bills, which will be replacing those bills passed by the Britishers, right? And of course, the bills has considered the recent developments, and those provisions were also included in these criminal bills, right? So you no need to go for too much details. You need to know about which bill was replaced by which bill, which act was replaced by which new act, and some important provisions, some important changes that were brought by these acts, right? So these are the three acts. Let's see briefly, right? First one, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Remember these words, these bills were given with the Hindi names, right? So some students who are especially from southern part of India may feel little bit difficult to remember, but yeah, you need to by heart them, right? Don't forget Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. It was replaced with the replaced for the Indian Penal Code. Indian Penal Code way back 1860 Britishers has passed. Till recent times we were following these acts, right? So because of this older nature or some new developments has happened, government has brought the new bills, new criminal bill, replacing the Indian Penal Code. A very, very important. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 has replaced the Indian Penal Code. Now, what new changes has been made? Most of the provisions were taken from those bills only. Like what type of offense has to be given, what type of punishment, all those things mostly were copied, just they changed the name, except few things. Those few things we will know here, right? First, new offenses. The new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has made new offenses as part of this act. One is organized crime. That means earlier Indian Penal Code does not talk about the organized crime. What is organized crime? Organized crime means it is like having proper employment, like recruiting certain people and then making them involved in the illegal activities like beggar, or it can be of trafficking, right? So all those things comes under the organized crime. So this was added into the new act. This is one thing. Next, it also talks or involves the terrorism. So terrorism was not present in those old act. Now it was included in the new act, right? Then group related grievances like murder and all group crimes are also included in this particular bill, right? Then sexual offences against women. Earlier the age was until 16. That means any offences which were considered between 16 to 18 were not treated very seriously. They were considered as a, like those women were considered as a minors, and then they were treated as a separate offences. So this was now removed. There is no discrimination between minors or majors. Anyone who commits offences against women whose age is below 18 will be taken very severely. Earlier less than 16. So those women whose age is less than 60 were treated offences against these women were treated as a very serious. Between 16 to 18 it was not very seriously treated because of various reasons. But now any person who commits offences against women whose age is less than 18 will be treated with the very harsh punishments, right? So this provision was added by the new act. Similarly, sedition revision. So what is sedition? Anyone, what is sedition? What is sedition? Sedition means anything that you say is creating a national threat. That means you are whatever the comments against the government, right? So they can take as a punishment, I mean they can take it as a offences and they can punish the person who talked about the government and all. Because yes, like it's Deshdroh earlier, whoever is threatening the government or integrity of India, those will be treated as a sedition, right? Earlier 124A, section 124A under Indian Penal Code were taken, and this sedition act was used by the Britishers against punishing those freedom fighters also, like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru. So those persons were also affected by this act. So that's why there was a lot of criticism to remove this provision. So this sedition revisions, it has replaced the element of sedition. That means sedition was removed. Sedition was removed, but some other some statements was made without the mentioning of the sedition, right? So it will penalize whoever are involved in engaging the threatening of our national integrity, right? So the term sedition was removed, but yes, the implementation is still there with the different terms and conditions. Then death by negligence. So if there is a medical practitioners, doctors, or in any case, if there is a death because of the negligence, those punishment was increased under section 304A, right? So from 2 to 5 years. Earlier it was only 2 years, but now the punishment is up to 5 years. That means the negligence by death should also be considered as a serious threat, right? Should be considered as a serious threat as well. Then comes Supreme Court compliances. That means in various cases Supreme Court has given certain suggestions and all those were also included in the new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, right? So this is the replacement for Indian Penal Code. And punishments, yes, terrorism, it was increased, death sentence still from life imprisonment to death sentence. And then organized crime again, life imprisonment to death sentence. Mob lynching, this is a new one. You might have seen that there was a lot of mob lynching activities because of fake news, all those things. Mob lynching means like a group of people abusing a single person, and it may lead to death also. That is also added in the new act, right? So this is also given with the life imprisonment or up to even death also, punishment. So all these things were added by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, right? Okay, any queries? Any queries? Next one, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023. Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, right? So this was the second one. It has replaced Criminal Procedure Code. Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. This is a replacement for Criminal Procedure Code, right? So this is also important to be remembered. Next one, detention conditions. Detention conditions. This particular act has persons having severe offences and facing multiple charges, they won't be given with the bail conditions. They will be detained, right? So that is added by the new Criminal Procedure Code. Then medical examination. This has broadened the medical examination by any police officer. Say for example, if police officer want a medical examination of the accused, right? So this has given more powers to the police officer. They have given the more powers to the police officer that they can go and do the medical examination. So they have the powers of the police officers was broadened, right? So this is also one more provision. Then forensic investigations. In recent times, forensic investigation has become more important. Earlier, some decade or 2 decades before, there is no development of forensic investigation at all. So all those things were also included in this particular act. Sample collections. It is very difficult to collect the samples of the persons. It can be hair, it can be blood. All those things were earlier difficult, but now it has made ease, right? So even before arresting the persons, they can collect the samples from the individuals, right? So that is also one more provision added to this. Then timelines. If any of the reports which were to be submitted on time, if they were not submitted on time, then they will be severely punished. So timelines were given, and if the reports or whatever the data required were not submitted on the correct time, so those will also be penalized under the act, right? And then court hierarchy. Earlier there was distinction between the metropolitan magistrates and the normal magistrates, right? Magistrates means he's a district collector only, but he's also the one who is taking care of the judicial elements. So that person were called as the district magistrates. Now there was no distinction between the metropolitan or other district magistrate. It was equalized, right? Then last one, Bharatiya Saksha Bill 2023. Bharatiya Saksha Bill 2023. Okay. This was replacement for the Indian Evidence Act. Indian Evidence Act of 1872. Okay. So this was the replacement for Indian Evidence Act. So you need to know about the names and for which act were being replaced, right? According to this, the documentary evidence, earlier there is no digital documents, right? It was only that you need to submit the proof as a physical paper and all, right? Now it was enabled for electronic records as well. That means even PDF, whatever scan, those proofs were also accepted under the Indian Evidence Act as a proof, right, in any of the crimes. That is one thing. Primary and secondary evidence was clearly made, which are more important for taking care of these cases. Those are considered as a primary evidence, and then next one which are secondary in nature, they are considered as the secondary evidences, right? So this distinction was made between the two, right? Earlier it was only one single evidence, but now within evidences that are given to the police or whatever the cases, so they will be distinct as a primary and secondary cases, right? So yes, oral evidence as well as other submissions through electronic means were also accepted, right? So all these provisions were added newly into the Indian Evidence Act. This is a little bit what you call dry article, but yes, you need to remember especially which bill was replaced which one, and some new provisions added into the bills, right? So yes, there is a chance of getting into your exams. Any doubts in this? Okay, let's move to the next article, that is Project 75I. There was an article in the Hindu, there was an article in this today's Hindu itself, that field evaluation trials of Project 75I has been completed. That means there is a submarines developed under this project, and whatever the field trials required, those were completed, right? This is the article about. Let's see what is actually Project 75I, right? So it is a military acquisition program of submarines. That means submarines are required. What are submarines? Submarines are those what you call maritime which travels under the water, and then they can attack the other countries' enemy submarines as well. And it can also collect the information about the borders, whatever may be, right? So this Project 75I is a project of military acquisition program by our Ministry of Defense, right? So that will also be asked in the exam. They may also ask you like, what is Project 75I recently seen in news? It can be related to defense. So they will give you 3-4 options. You need to know about the basics of it. Then under this Project 75I, government is aiming to procure 6 new generation diesel electric attack submarines are very, very important. There are a lot of varieties of submarines, but under this project, we are taking care only about the diesel electric attack submarines, right? Which are equipped with the air independent propulsion systems. Again, this is important. Air independent propulsion systems. Usually, if submarine stays under the water, frequently it will come and then it will go down and then again it will come up, right? Because it does not have capacity to stay underwater for larger time period, right? It will go inside and then it will come again after 1 hour. So there is a time span which it can stay underwater, right? But because of that, whenever the submarine comes above the water, the enemies will come to know that there is a submarine. So if this submarine could stay underwater for longer period, then it is a benefit that the enemies cannot track the submarines, right? Because of that, this air independent propulsion system will enable submarine to stay underwater for longer period. That means more than 10 hours, 12 hours also it can stay, right? Some advanced submarines, but now for us it is around 6 to 7 hours, right? So there's a time period which can be increased where submarines can travel underwater for longer period. That is the technology which is called as air independent propulsion system. So this submarines that we are going to deploy are with the technology of air independent propulsion systems, and also they are of diesel electric submarines, right? So these facts are important for us. Now, under this program to procure them, we are not actually just buying those submarines. We are signing an MOU in such a way that we will know what type of technology they are manufacturing it. So there is a technology transfer is happening. This is a strategic partnership model, right? It does not just buying the submarines from the countries, rather they have to transfer the technology as well. They need to tell us that this is the technology that we are using it. So through this agreement, now the government is aiming to contact with the different companies, but the model is that not just buying, but we are also knowing what type of technology involved. So in future, India, we ourselves can build these submarines and also that generate the employment, right? So this is the aim of this project. You need to know what actually this project is, under that which type of submarines, what is the air independent propulsion system, and the business model involved in this particular project. Strategic partnership model where technology transfer will happen from other countries to India, right? So this is about the Project 75. Any doubts in this? Let's move to the next one, Project Nexus. Project Nexus. Recently, Reserve Bank of India has joined the Project Nexus, which enables the instant cross-border retail payments. Currently, if you want to transfer money within borders, it's fine. There is no issue at all. You can just scan, you can send money to anywhere. But if you want to send it to other countries, retail payments are not possible. Like business payments, yes, there is a ways, NEFT and all, right? But it takes some time and it has some limit. So the Bank of International Settlement, a international bank, which is headquartered at the Switzerland, it has launched the Project Nexus, where it want to promote the retail cross-border payments. That means if you want to buy something from Switzerland or from China or from Myanmar, anyway, you can directly transact through the phone itself. So it is a easy streamline for the business holders as well as the retail payments. This is the aim of this Project Nexus, where it is being launched by the Bank of International Settlement under innovation hub. There is within Bank of International, there is a arm, there is a separate small organization called innovation hub. Through this organization, it is implementing it. And what is the aim? We have already discussed, to enhance the cross-border payments between the countries. So in the future, there won't be any hindrance in transferring the money from one country to the other country. Currently, we have a lot of restriction. If you want to transfer money from one country to other country, it is very difficult. You need to take a lot of permissions and all. But in future, it will be instance. How we are doing using phone pay, Google Pay and all, it will be much easier between the countries as well. So that is the aim of this project. So they may ask you in the exam, what actually is a project Nexus, who launched this, right? So it is launched by Bank of International Settlement. From India, RBI is the organization which is taking care of it, right? So it allows payment systems operators, like we have PhonePe, or we have different banks also. We have Union Bank of India, right? We have different banks as well. So it will integrate. There no need to be required create any new interface. One single interface which will be created through Project Nexus. All the banks, say for example, you want to transact business or money from one country to other country. Now you need to take permission from RBI, and then it will allow like this, right? So if you take from Union Bank, you take it from ICICI, you take from Amazon, any things, there will be single interface through Project Nexus. It can be Union Bank of India, it can be SBI, it can be Amazon, it can be Paytm, anything. They will process here and then directly transact to the beneficiaries. So single platform will be there without requirement of the different platforms from the different countries, right? So that is the objective. And the founding members, it was initiated recently only. The founding members are Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and from Asia, South Asia, India. So as of now, there are 5 countries who are the founding members, and in future there is a scope that many countries will join, right? So here you need to remember that India is joining as a founding member of this organization. As of now, 5 countries are part of this, and in future it will be expanded. Any doubts in this? I hope that is clear. Next one, Bustard Recovery Program. Bustard Recovery Program. The context is Ministry of Environment has extended this program for few more years until 2027. The given target was completed, given until 2023 it was aimed, but still we did not achieve the objectives that we have kept in conserving the bustards, right? So that they have expanded this timeline till 2027. That's why we have taken this particular article, right? Now let's see what actually is a Bustard Recovery Program. Bustards are birds with larger body, with larger bodies, right? And they cannot fly like other birds for longer distance. They can fly only for shorter distance because their body is little bit heavier, right? So those are called as the bustards, and this program was launched in 2016. This program was launched in 2016, right? Under this program, they have aimed to protect only 2 bustard species. We have a number of bustard, around 4 to 5 varieties of bustard species are there in India. But under this program, only 2 bustard species were aimed. One is Great Indian Bustard, and second one is Lesser Floricon. A very, very important to be remembered. We will see details about this also. But you need to know that under this program, only 2 species were targeted, that is Great Indian Bustard and Lesser Floricon, right? And this is being implemented by Wildlife Institute of India. Wildlife Institute of India under Ministry of Environment. This is the organization. We have a number of environmental organizations. Wildlife Trust of India, right? And then Zoological Board. So there are a number of wildlife organizations, but institutes, don't confuse with that. This program is being implemented by Wildlife Institute of India, WII, right? The next phase will be, till 2033. Please remember this, it is not 2027, rather it is a 2033. So approximately 10 years extension was taken place, right? So this time span is also important for us. Even though this is not very significant, what we will do as a government employees to remember these things. If you're going to be a government employee, but what is the necessity of remembering the years? But still they are asking the exam. There is no reason, but yes, we have to by heart. From 2024 to 2033, that is the time span where we are extending this Bustard conservation program, right? And this program includes protecting the habitats, that means their natural environment where they are living, and then in situ conservation, that means they will be protected in their own condition. There are two types of conservation. One is in situ, that means whatever the natural habitat are there, we will be creating those conditions. Ex situ means we will be protecting them outside of their habitat. In situ, like you can take example of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, so they will be protected in a natural habitat. And zoos, right? So zoos are the ones which are artificially made. Even though they are not similar to this natural habitat, we are trying to protect through zoos as well. Those is a ex situ conservation. So here we are aiming to protect through in situ conservation, right? That is also important. All these were part of this program. Now let's know about the Great Indian Bustard as well as the Lesser Floricon, because these two species are the ones which are being protected under this program, right? Great Indian Bustard, this is a heavy bird and it is a ground bird. That means it cannot fly for longer distance. It can travel only within minute it can fly, right? After a minute it cannot fly, so it will fall down on the ground, right? It is a ground bird. That means basically it roam on the ground itself. The body is brownish with a black patch spotted in white. So you can see here. So this is the Great Indian Bustard, right? It is being protected under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. That means the highest protection is given to this particular bird. And this is largest among the 4 bustard species found in India. In India, we have 4 bustard species. Out of them, this is the largest one. A very important fact, right? They feed on insects, lizards, grass, seeds. That means they are omnivorous. They are non-vegetarians as well as vegetarians. All these things are facts. There is a lot of questions asked on Great Indian Bustard in our exam. So you need to know all the specialities as well as the facts related to Great Indian Bustard. Now in the habitat where they are residing, usually, in general, some decades before, they were spread across India, especially below the Tropic of Cancer, right? Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, there's a lot of states. But now they are restricted mostly to Rajasthan and Gujarat. Mostly in Rajasthan, in the desert region, Desert National Park, they are located, right? So Gujarat as well as the Rajasthan are the 2 states which are being presently for the conservation of the Great Indian Bustard. They are the natural habitats and they live in the semi-arid regions. Semi-arid regions. So they did not require the dense forest. They required the semi-arid regions only, right? You can see the dry areas these birds required. Fine. Now conservation status. Project Great Indian Bustard was initiated by Rajasthan in 2013. Similarly, the central government also launched a separate program, Great Indian Bustards Recovery Program in 2015. Years are also important for us, right? Rajasthan has launched the project Great Indian Bustard. It is also the state bird of Rajasthan and Indian government has launched in 2015, right? Now Lesser Floricon, one more species that we are protecting under this program, right? Bustard Conservation Program. Lesser Floricon. Lesser Floricon. First thing, they are endemic to Indian subcontinent. That means they are their original habitat is located in India. They are native to India itself. They are not native to any other countries. Rather, it is endemic or native to India. And they also live in the grasslands only. They does not require the dense forest. Rather, they live in the grasslands itself, right? Yes. Among these lesser floricons, male ones are usually shorter and lighter. So this is an important one. You may confuse that females are more shorter and all, but here it is reverse. In case of lesser floricons, the male ones are shorter and lighter in color, right? Lighter in color, whereas females are little bit lengthier ones and then dark in color, right? So this is one specific feature of lesser fluoricon. And they have a special feature called as aerial courtship display. That means once they fly into the sky, they can rotate, revolve in a different directions. 360 degrees they can revolve. This is also one more feature of this bird. And they are located or distributed across Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and some parts of Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. So usually it is same habitat as that of the Great Indian Bustard, right? So this is also important feature. They are also protected under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, and they are listed as critically endangered birds in the IUCN, same as that of the Great Indian Bustard. Great Indian Bustard is also placed under the critically endangered status in IUCN, and lesser fluoricon is also placed under the critically endangered status, right? So that is about the Bustard conservation program. Any doubts in this? Okay. Next article, Smart Cities Mission. Recently, central government has extended the Smart Cities timeline till 2025, right? It was expired in 2023. It was launched in 2015. It was until 2023, but now it was extended till March 2025. Smart Cities Mission. Now, what is this Smart Cities Mission? You all know that now the technology has been upgraded when compared to the last few decades. The technology requirement in the cities has improved. So if we could deploy the technology in the cities, then we can promote the sustainable cities. That means we no need to exploit the natural resources, or say for example, you can take one technology as the robotic technology which can clean the drainage. Earlier we were using the manual only. Through manual only we are cleaning the drainages and all. So it was lot of unhygienic conditions were generated. So we can, if we could able to deploy the technology, we can make cities more sustainable, right? So because of that, Government of India along with the state governments has identified 100 smart cities. Throughout the India, they have selected 100 smart cities where they will be allocating certain funds, right? So 100 crores for every year. For each city, 100 crores for every year. That means in 5 years, they have allocated 500 crores for this particular project to promote the involvement of the technology in the cities, all right? So this was launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs as a centrally sponsored scheme. We have discussed this many times. Centrally sponsored scheme means 60-40% between the center and states. If it is a northeast or special category status, then 90% and 10% between the states and center. All right. So this is a centrally sponsored. That means it is not completely funded by the central government. If it was a centrally sector scheme, then it must have been 100% funded by the central government. All right. The objective is, we have already discussed, to involve the technology. All the things, most of the things like health, as well as the what you call drinking water, sanitation, cleaning, all those are involved as the objectives of this program. All right. Each state will nominate the cities. So the selection of the power to select the cities were with the state governments itself. It is not central government who selects the cities, rather it will be selected by the states and then it is nominated or given the list to the central government. Final decision is taken by the central government itself, right? Central government will give the finance, as we have seen, 100 crores per year, and state governments also has to spend certain amount of money. Also state governments can encourage the private players like Tata, Infosys, if whatever the corporate social responsibility funds are there, they can also spend on this smart cities mission, right? So this was launched in 2015 with the 4 main components are there. Improve infrastructure, core infrastructure like water distribution, electricity, sanitation. Enhance quality of life. How our quality of life will increase? If that is, we are having a proper parks, if we are having a proper electricity, proper health, all those things were involved as the second component. And the third component is promote economic growth. If cities are hygienic, clean, right, and are in a proper manner, more investments will also come. More FDIs, more companies also will come and invest. So that will also propel the economic growth. This is the third component. And the fourth component is sustainable development. So sustainable development means developing the present generations without affecting the future generations. So this is also the fourth components of Smart City India mission. Fine. So this is about the Smart Cities mission. Last article for today, National Indicator Framework Progress Report. Right. So National Indicator Framework Progress Report. Right. Now the last one, why the context? Why we are discussing this? Because Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has developed the Sustainable Development Goals National Indicator Framework. National Indicator Framework was prepared by Ministry of Statistics. Don't confuse, many people will answer this as Niti Aayog, right? So don't confuse with Niti Aayog. This is not given by Niti Aayog, rather it was given by the Ministry of Statistics. Now coming to the background, we all know, at least this is a very popular fact, that we have kept the target of achieving 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, right? So we have kept the target throughout the world. The United Nations has kept the target 17 Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by 2030, right? For a better world, we have kept the 17 targets. You can see here the 17 targets. At least first 4 or 5 you have to remember. In the exam point of view, they will be asking in the matching as well. No poverty is the first Sustainable Development Goals, and then no hunger is the second Sustainable Development Goals. Then good health is the third Sustainable Development Goal. Quality education is the fourth Sustainable Development Goal. And then gender equality is the fifth. At least 5 you have to remember. Rest of the things also go through it, because sometimes they may also ask you in the matching of other Sustainable Development Goals as well. Clean water as well as sanitation, then affordable clean energy, detection, decent work and economic growth. So similarly, we have a 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So please go through it in the PDF, right? So to evaluate how India is performing in these Sustainable Development Goals, the government, the Ministry of Statistics has brought the National Indicator Framework, right? So they may also ask you in the exam, what is the requirement or what is the objective of National Indicator Framework released by Ministry of Statistics? It is to evaluate the India's performance in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. That is the objective of this report. How India has fared or faring in achieving these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. That is the objective. Now, there is also report data given by this report. Briefly I have taken, but this won't be asked in the exam. It's very difficult for us to remember the numbers. Anyway, you have to remember this particular fact. Poverty in India presently is around 14.96%. This is our poverty rate currently. Fine. We have also given different data. You can just go through them. No need to worry too much. It is very difficult to remember the facts, right? So they have given certain facts that we have improved in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. That is the bottom line of this particular slide, right? So these are the articles for today. Thanks, Malini. I hope you will enjoy more in the coming sessions as well. Now let's see, there is only one fact which is relevant for our exam. 5 soldiers has recently died in the Ladakh when Shock River has swept away them, right? They were involved in some project, but this Shock River has, whatever the water, it has pushed the soldiers and 5 people or 5 soldiers has died, right? So you need to know about the Shock River. Shock River is a right bank tributary of Indus River. Right bank tributary of Indus River. This is the fact to be remembered, right? So these are all the articles. Rest of all are political in nature, that is not required from today's newspapers. Fine. So these facts you can remember. Let's see the practice questions. Yes, it's like a flash flood. Correct, Ranjan. Let's see the practice questions. First one related to the Project 75. First statement, we have discussed the Project 75, the purpose and all. The Project 75 aims to procure 6 new generation diesel electric submarines equipped with the air independent propulsion systems for Indian Navy. We have discussed about the AIP as well, what is air independent propulsion system, and about this as well. So that is the first statement. It follows a direct procurement model. So the statement is saying that for this procurement, this under this project 75I, there is a direct procurement model where Indian Navy will directly negotiate with the foreign defense firms without involving the Indian shipyards. So this is the second statement. So what is the answer for this? First statement, yes, that is the objective of this program. 6 new generation diesel electric submarines equipped with the AIP, right? That is the first correct. It is not direct procurement model, rather it is a strategic procurement model where these shipyards will transfer the technology. They will take technology from the other companies, whoever are involved, and then they will build, right? So it is not under the direct procurement model, rather it is a strategic model where they have to transfer the technology as well. So answer is A. Yes, Ranjan, Malini, Srinath, Keshav has answered it as correct. Next question about which of the following statements about Project Nexus is correct. Okay, is incorrect this actually. This is incorrect. Okay, this is incorrect. Which of the following statements is incorrect? So please go through patiently. Whenever the question statements are a little bit lengthier, you need to have patience in understanding the statements. That's how you need to answer, right? Project Nexus is conceptualized by Innovation Hub of Bank for International Settlements. That is the first statement. The main purpose of Project Nexus is to enhance cross-border payments by connecting multiple domestic instant payment systems globally. So it is saying that we will connect the different models into single platform and then we can transfer money. Project Nexus is the first BIS Innovation Hub project in a payments area to move towards a live implementation. So this will be the first one to be implemented in a proper manner. The live implementation means there is a lot of theories, lot of payment systems built by BIS, but this will be the first one to go into the implementation. That's what it is saying. Project Nexus require each payment system operator, that means each operator, whoever is transferring, right? It can be Paytm or Amazon, whatever may be, to build a custom connections for every new country. So for every new country, each of the company has to create a separate system, they are saying. So what is the, which one is the incorrect statement? First one is correct. Yes, it is a innovation hub of BIS, right? Then main purpose is to enhance cross-border payments through connecting all the multiple platforms into single. And yes, this is also the first one to go into the live implementation, right? So this is also correct. And this is the wrong one. No need to connect the different platforms for the payment interface. So for example, you are doing through Amazon or you are doing through Paytm for different country. So for single India to Pakistan, you need to use different platforms, it is saying. From Amazon, you need to create one. Paytm, you need to create one. PhonePe, you need to create one. So no such thing. It will connect all the things. So any user interface can go through the single platform. So answer is D. Srinath has answered it as correct. Next one, a very popular question about the Great Indian Bustard. Which of the following statements about habitat of Great Indian Bustard are correct? So habitat, so where they are living. They have given the 4 ones and they are asking what is correct, right? They are primarily found in dense forests. First statement, they prefer open grasslands and semi-arid regions. This is the second one. Then Great Indian bustards are commonly sighted near the wetlands and rivers. This is the third statement. The habitat is restricted only to high altitude regions. So what is the answer for this? So 4 can be eliminated. They are not restricted to high altitude. Actually, they are the ground birds, right? Fourth is eliminated. First one, they primarily found in the dense forest. This is also wrong. They are usually found in the grasslands and semi-arid regions, right? So first statement is wrong. Second statement is correct. Third may be difficult for you to estimate. So this is how you need to, even though we did not discuss, but this is sited near the wetlands and rivers. Where will birds live? Even though it is a desert region, desert national park and all, so they need to get the near wetlands. So how they will reside? They need water, they need food. So usually they are resided in the wetlands and river areas of the desert regions. So if you go to desert national park in Rajasthan or Kutch region in Gujarat, there are wherever there is a wetlands, right, agriculture fields or rivers, they reside in those regions. So third is also correct. Answer is B, 2 and 3. Okay, this is a very generic statements you need to understand. Next question, which international organization has provided the technical assistance for Smart India mission in India? I think we have missed this particular point. I have noted this in the PDF. So one of the international organization is assisting us, right? So which organization is helping us to implement the Smart City mission for India? United Nations Development Program, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, International Monetary Fund. The answer is World Bank. World Bank is assisting the project. So I think we have missed this point when we were discussing. Yes, here it is. World Bank has provided with the technical assistance for the implementation of the program, right? So World Bank is giving the assistance for us to implementation in the Smart City mission. Last question for today. This is a application based. That means we have discussed the sustainable development goals and all, but you need to understand what is the application of this. Let's see who will answer this particular question. In recent times, especially state PSC group 1 higher level of exams or even engineering service exams, they are asking application based rather than the factual ones. So let's understand, achieving the sustainable development goals require active participation from various stakeholders. That is correct only. Which of the following is the most appropriate way to describe this participation, right? So they are asking the application based. Let's see. They have given that many stakeholders are required and a most appropriate way. How can we do this, right? First one, sole responsibility of national governments. So only national governments can involve. Collaboration between governments, civil society and the private sector. This is the second statement. Primarily driven by international organization. So it should be driven by international organization. They are saying only developed countries have a significant role to play. So in which way we can implement the sustainable development goals? Through various stakeholders. Most of the students, after seeing the big statements, they will skip the question and they will go. But this type of questions are very easy. If you patiently understand, you can easily answer. Yes, most of you have already answered the question. Collaboration between government, civil society and private sector will enhance the various stakeholders, because not only government can take, or not only developed countries can take, or not only about international organization can take. It can be included by, it has to be included by different organization. Yes, Srinath, Ranjan, Malini, Keshav, Sahana, all of you are correct, right? So this is about today's session. I hope you have enjoyed. There are a lot of important facts you can revise, right? Have a great evening. Thank you.